Fry was named the Special Teams Player of the Week in the SEC. No surprise there, so congratulations, Elliot. But, we'll have Coach Muschamp make an opening statement and open up the questions.
All righty, y'all ready? I normally would announce this on Sunday night, but we had not met with the players. We practiced Monday. This being a little different with Labor Day off, and we gave them Sunday off, so we gave them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off since the Thursday night game. But offensive player of the game was Brian Edwards. Brian played really well. Offensive lineman of the week was Mason Zandy. We had 9 explosive plays. Perry Orth, Brian Edwards, Debo Samuel, and A.J. Turner all took place in those explosives. Defensive player of the games, we had John Walton and Quay Lewis. A ball hawk was Quay Lewis. He forced a fourth down stop there on the last play of the game with a really nice pass rush. Special teams player of the game was Elliot Fry, and obviously the conference player of the week for special teams. Really proud of Elliot. It was a great pressure kick into going and performing in that situation. But I got Mississippi State this week. We started yesterday on them, and then we had a good practice this morning. Big physical football team. Dan Mullen has done a fantastic job there. He acts as his offensive coordinator, does a great job with the offense. Peter Sermon is a new defensive coordinator who's an outstanding coach. So we have our work cut out for us going to Stark, but we'll face a different team than obviously we see on film. And I've told our players that since we met yesterday. And we're looking forward to going to Starkville and playing the Bulldogs. I'll open up for any questions.
Dave.
Will, after looking at the Vandy film, was there one thing that stood out to you the most, good or bad, just from that game?
Well, I think we had really good effort. I think on both sides of the ball. We need our coverage units on special teams need to be much better. Our punt coverage was okay. Our kickoff coverage was very poor. We made some changes there. But I felt like, David, overall the effort was good. Not always the execution wasn't what we needed to be, and we need to improve tremendously.
How much does the QB run complicate things for you defensively?
Well, I think anytime you have if it's a quarterback and a one-back, that's a two-back run. It's creating an extra gap. If it's a two-back set with a quarterback, it's now a three-back run. So it always creates the extra gap. It always creates the extra threat. So those are always issues you have to deal with when you deal with a team that's willing to and committed to running the quarterback, and they are. They can outnumber you in the running game very easily.
Even before spring practice, you were telling us don't be surprised if you see Brian Edwards in a starting role. I mean, did you just notice that off his high school tape, or what you saw in workouts before he started spring practice, or what indications did he give you before he actually got on the field that he was capable of this?
Well, I think obviously you watch his tape in high school and you see him compete at a high level. Playing early as a freshman, regardless of position, has a lot to do with ability, has to do with opportunity, but a lot of it has to do with maturity. And Brian's a very mature young man. I mean, he gets it. He has a really good work ethic. He pushes himself through adversity. He handled the off-season program very well. All of those things, to me, and over my years of coaching, the guys that do that kind of stuff, that are able to push through those things, we've got some other freshman receivers that can't, just quite frankly. So that's why he's so much further ahead than a lot of guys, and it has nothing to do with other than just being maybe a little bit more mature and maybe a little more tougher. So those things, to me, all the intangible qualities that you look for in any good player, Brian has.
Go to the back room, Mike.
Coach, is it harder to face a team back here? Is it harder to face a team that's coming off a loss at home?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's what happened Saturday. It has zero to do with what's going to happen Saturday night in Starkville. We'll face a different team, and it has zero to do with that.
What do you think it can do for a team, though? Do you think it can add a little bit extra motivation for week 2?
I can't speak for another team. I'll just talk about South Carolina.
Stay in the back.
You'd mentioned going into the game for your guys to expect the unexpected. Did Vanderbilt do anything that you've seen looking back on the film that your guys handled? Some things that you hadn't repped in practice.
No, they adjusted some things out defensively a little different. They did a little bit more than they've done before defensively. Offensively, defensively against their offense, I thought we were pretty well prepared for most of the things that we saw. A little bit more two-back than we had expected.
Pete over here.
Well, the win last Thursday, what does that do for the kind of buy-in that these guys have, that maybe they see that what you were telling them all year long can pay?
I think anytime you have positive results, it makes it much easier to believe and have some belief in what you're trying to do. You got to have some positive feedback, and regardless of whether it's football or the business world or whatever you're doing, you've got to have something positive happen for you. And in our profession, the results of winning is what we look for, and you got to be able to see the fruits of your labor. A lot of guys, mature guys, understand it anyways. They see themselves getting stronger. They see themselves improving as a player, but young guys especially, they need that as much as anything.
Go to the right, Teddy.
Coach, what are you going to do along the offensive line, or will a lot of that be determined in practice this week?
Well, it'd be determined in practice, but we've got a lot of flexibility. Corey, Allen, and Chandler Farrell can all snap. Zach Bailey can snap. So those guys, those four right there, could go in and play center. Corey, Allen, can play either guard position. DJ Park can play either guard position. Blake Camper and DJ can play right tackle and be our flip to a left tackle, depending on how Malik is practiced throughout the week. So we've got a lot of when you have multiple snappers, it creates a lot of good things for you to be able to move to get the best five guys in the game. And I want to compliment Blake Camper, a guy that went in and played extremely well for us the other night. DJ Park, took some snaps because we practiced for an injury situations in our last scrimmage at the stadium, and he probably took a grand total of maybe 25 snaps through camp at the guard position. We wanted to saturate him as much as possible at the tackle position, and he goes in there and has zero busted assignments over probably 60-plus snaps at right guard. So that says a lot about, how they're getting coached and developed by Sean, but also man down, man up, and guys, taking advantage of an opportunity. And they did a good job for our team.
Josh.
Jamari Smith still your starting slot receiver?
Yeah, right now, but we'll continue to move some guys through there. And at the end of the day, you got to catch the ball. I mean, that's part of the job of a receiver. And we had some opportunities the other night for some explosive plays, for some first downs. And, Jamari works extremely hard, and a guy that I've still got a bunch of confidence in.
You had 3 wide receivers catch passes. Is that okay? Would you like to have more? Did you intend to play more guys, and that's just how the game went, or did you just have those 3 that you felt comfortable with?
Well, we'd like to play more guys, but again, Josh, it goes back to practice. And, I illustrated for those guys in yesterday's meeting, and I used the example of Blake Camper. Was a guy that started spring as a starting right tackle and was demoted, and DJ Park played well. I asked him in front of the whole team, did you like it? Did you like the demotion? Did you agree with it? He said no. I appreciate his honesty. You know what? He never complained. He never moaned. He never groaned. He took it and improved and had a great summer and had a great fall camp and had great confidence in him coming in and playing extremely well. And we need some of those young receivers to step up. They wilt at practice, in my opinion. So they need to step up and become better players. But we need to be more versatile with the tight end position with KC and Hayden and Jacob. And Keel Pollard needs to keep coming along, which he has. But we'll continue to, if those young guys don't continue to step up, that's where the next step is.
Are you close to having a 4th guy, or right now, or you feel like
Well,
these?
Randrikis is a guy that we're bringing along as a 4th guy right now behind Jamari, Debo, and Brian, and a guy that needs to continue to come on, Corey Banks and Chevis Dawkins, all those guys. We'll continue to get opportunities, but they got to practice well to give us the confidence to play them.
Over here, Brian.
Obviously, last week was on the road, but it's going to be much more of a hostile environment this week at Mississippi State. What do you do this week to get you guys prepared for cowbells and such?
Well, we have crowd noise at every practice, and we practice with crowd noise with offense and defense on both sides of the ball. So that's something that our guys we started probably the 7th or 8th practice in fall camp, and we did it throughout spring. So it ought to be something we're able to operate pretty well with.
Go back to the left, Ben.
Had you planned to use KC as much as you did in the slot, and how did you kind of come away feeling about his performance?
I thought he played well. I mean, again, we'll get him. He's going to play a lot more Saturday. than he did Saturday night, and we'll certainly we'll use him in some different spots as far as the slot is concerned, as far as being attached in the core of the formation, and some different things.
Will, how's Lorenzo Nunez coming along at receiver?
Good. I mean, I've been pleased with him. Lorenzo's working hard, extremely hard. Everything's new to Lorenzo right now at the position, and I feel like that he is, really embraced the opportunity at the position, and I'm really proud of his effort and everything he's doing. And it's tough. You've played last year. You're a starting quarterback last year, and now you're in this situation. He's going through a tough time, and I've been really pleased with how he's handled the whole situation.
Do you expect the quarterback rotation to look similar in that Brandon will get in early and you'll go from there?
Possibly. We want to get through practice tomorrow and Thursday, but Perry obviously deserves the opportunity to start the way he played the other night, and especially in the second half, and played well in the first half. He had some drops, had some opportunities to continue to move the ball. But when Brandon got in the game, he played well, and we moved the ball when he was in the ball game. We got to take care of the football, and he understands that. So both of those guys are going to help us succeed.
A lot of teams this weekend played 2 or more guys. Is there a reason we're seeing more of that, or is it just close competitions? And
I can't comment for anybody but us, but it's a close competition. It's a tough call to make, and I feel like we can have success with all 3 guys.
Coach, with 7 teams losing from the SEC in week 1, how big was that win for you guys on Thursday night?
Oh, I don't worry about anybody else. I just worry about South Carolina.
At what point did you kind of realize how versatile T.J. Hollowman could be in terms of kind of going out in space and pass coverage? I noticed at least on one play you guys sent him really deep.
Yeah, we put him in the middle of the field on a couple occasions. T.J. is really smart. It's fun to coach really, really smart guys because they can do a bunch of different things. You can talk them through it. You can show them on the board. Everybody learns differently. I was a rep guy. I had to rep it. I had to actually go through it and rep it. I couldn't really visualize it sometimes on the board and understand it totally. And we all learn differently. But TJ's a guy that learns, has a high aptitude to learn extremely well on the board, in the film room, in a rep situation. He can play multiple spots without really having to rep the situation. So that, it's going to help his career. To be able to, adapt himself to multiple situations.
Coach, with the way the first half went last week, especially that first quarter, how did you kind of have an idea how much leash you were going to give Orth? I mean, I know in the second half, obviously, he played the entire rest of the game, but how do you determine that leash, especially that first game?
Well, I thought he played well. We had too many drops. We had some miscommunications up front. We had some miscommunications in the run game. We just didn't do some things, but it wasn't all Perry's fault. Obviously, the quarterback's the one that gets the blame, but I thought he played well. I thought Brandon played well too. So, we'll continue to operate our offense as we see it in each game based on those guys.
Will, in your philosophy of tackling, how much do you emphasize flocking to the ball, and how much do you feel like this group is sort of taken to that, and how would you assess?
Flocking to the ball. I've never said flocking to the ball in my life.
Flying to the ball.
That's bad. Thank you. Thank you, man. I tell you, we're learning some new stuff. This is great. Flocking. Don't say that around our players. Flying to the ball is much better than flocking to the ball. Wow. All right. Flying to the ball is good. That sounds a little bit more, kind of a little more ball-like. Yeah, we want to fly to the ball. We're Gamecocks. We fly to the ball, right? So we just, I've coached defensive football my whole life, and you got to learn how to play a block. You got to learn how to disengage from a block. You got to learn to leverage the ball. And if you play with great effort, fanatical effort, then you can be a pretty good defensive player, even if you may not be the most talented guy in the world. And if you can do those things and you have some sort of keying diagnosis, you're able to see things and, see something and react and read to another thing, then you can be a defensive player. But it all goes back to effort. If you just play hard, if you just run to the ball, if you flock to the ball, you got a chance.
Coach, Joe Cook, WLTX. Just talk about your defense. I know you guys, of course, flying to the ball, but just talk about, being third in total defensive scoring after week 1. Did your defensive performance maybe even exceed your expectations for this group?
We won, so that means it met everything. And that's really all we look for. We have a goal for our special teams every week, and our offensive goal board and our defensive goal board, and it all starts with this: win. Whatever is necessary, we need to win the game. So if we win 51-50, we did something defensively in the game to help us win. Now, maybe not many things, but we did something. If we win, 3-0 offensively, we did do some things in the game to help us win the game. And then obviously in special teams, we've had some sort of positive contribution throughout the game, regardless of what the score is. So the number one thing you want to do is win. We're going to face better offenses as the year moves forward. We understand that, but we need to continue to improve, and I think we will through the year. We're by no means, we need to stay healthy in secondary. We need to stay healthy at linebacker. We don't have a lot of options after some of the guys that we've got playing right now. So we've got a lot of ifs that we've got to continue to work through as the season goes.
How do your offensive guys plan for Jeffrey Simmons, who will be eligible to play this week? Is it any different from a first game where you don't know what a freshman will do?
Again, we're just preparing for a very physical Mississippi State defensive front.
Just in general, how much does the Mississippi Junior College Program League contribute to the SEC and college football as a whole?
Oh, a lot. I mean, there's a lot of really good programs over the years that we've had tremendous success, that I've personally could say I've had tremendous success of players coming out of the Mississippi Junior College League, and obviously Mississippi State's got several players on their team, but outstanding players and really good programs that do a really good job in helping a young man that maybe academically didn't, a lot of times, young people don't always understand in 9th or 10th grade academically some of the things that they need to do or are required to do, or maybe they don't have an idea they got an opportunity to go to college, and their family's never been afforded that opportunity before. And then all of a sudden they've got an opportunity and they've fallen behind academically, and that happens. But I've multiple programs in that state that I've recruited over the years.
Did you guys learn something more about Perry with the way that he performed in some of those 3rd and long situations in the second half?
I don't think so. I think that Perry's performed very well in spring when he was healthy, and I thought he had a very good fall camp. I thought I've seen him throw the ball extremely well. In situational ball is 3rd down in 1 minute, and the different things that we've asked him to do. So I don't personally know that I've learned anything in that performance Saturday night. I expected him to play well.
Will, are you comfortable with Fry continuing to do kickoffs? I think Charlton might have been a candidate in the preseason, but could that change as the season goes on?
If he, kicks better, Michael Allman's been better, actually. Joseph didn't make the trip. Michael made the trip. So, we'll see how those guys kick in practice. And I would love for one of those guys to take that job. I don't like necessarily having the kickoff guy to be or your field goal kicker to be the kickoff guy. But right now, Elliott's our best opportunity. The way we covered, we need to kick it in the end zone deep.
Coach, having a game on Thursday, you have those extra couple days. I'm sure, fear as a coach is just making sure that your players stay out of trouble because they get more extra time. I mean, how have you managed the last couple of days leading up to just trying to get into a regular week like this week?
Well, our guys, we had a lift Friday morning. That I thought it was good to, always when you come off competition to be able to get the lactic acid off their legs and things and get them to work out. So we had a good workout Friday morning. Our staff went recruiting. We weren't here. But we gave them Saturday and Sunday off, except for those that needed treatment. And we certainly had some guys with little bumps and bruises, nothing serious other than Donnell. Kyle Markway has practice this week, so hopefully we'll get him back for some snaps on Saturday. But then we practiced yesterday and then again this morning. So it's been, pretty much a little bit more of a Sunday practice on Monday because we were off, and then a normal Tuesday practice this morning.
Anything else for Coach? Here,
Debo still returning punts for you?
Right now we had a very open competition going into the first ball game, and Rashad Fenton and Chris Lamons and Debo, all three we had confidence in. Still got confidence in Debo. We'll do our punt return work tomorrow and try and get them. We've gotten them live work every day, Monday and this morning. we'll do it again tomorrow and probably make a decision Thursday on that. So, but that was very, really, of ball security was the best in camp. So that was a, very uncharacteristic of what we've seen through camp and the other night.
Over here to Scott.
Based on your film study from the South Alabama game from last Saturday, has Mississippi State's offense changed in any way since Dak Prescott and the scheme or the way they use the quarterback?
Schematically, I don't know that they've been very successful, and Dan's been very successful over the years, what he's done offensively, and obviously tailoring their system to what their quarterback can do. Obviously, when you lose a guy like Dak Prescott, it does change some things. They're not going to give that quarterback as much as they gave Dak, and they put a lot on Dak, last year having played them. So, again, I don't think philosophically there's been any change as far as what they believe in, and that's being very physical up front, having the quarterback being able to have run game situations for him. They take a lot of shots. They create a lot of eye control issues with the motions and the shifts and the different things they do. They create some tempo issues for you. So then you got to cover down and leverage the formation. So, but I don't see a lot of change from that. They probably don't put as much on the quarterback, because obviously when you've got a 4-year starter, you're going to give them a little bit more. I'm going to flock back to the office.
To gather or assemble as a crowd.